What we're doing.
What does that do for you? Make it all worthwhile?
Makes us want to build another one.
Oh, stand all in. Come on, y'all, stand all in.
And here he goes, right on down the track.
Alan Gaines, he is the best. And he's got a chance now in this 85 Chevy to make it count here in the super modified classification.
Ken Brew, this was the super modified national champion for the United States Hot Rod Association back a number of years ago. And Alan Gaines just keeps refining the truck a little bit at a time. And Alan makes you look to find anything he did wrong.
You know, Alan's got 4 trucks, and he keeps telling me, I'm gonna build another, but he won't tell me what it is or what he's gonna do. Sounds like he's got himself a real secret that's going to be unveiled here before long.
And that's the way Alan Gaines is. When he built his blue truck, he was the same way.
Here we go. Oh, man. Stop and pay the toll. Next stop, Flint. Alan Gaines likes to drive it out the door.
Ran out of track. They said there'll be no full poles in this class. Run them as far as you can. They didn't realize that Alan Gaines can run them about as far as anyone. Now, he's standing up. You know what he's doing right now, Ken Brew? He's putting his boots on.
That's right.
He drives barefooted. You know, I've been around Alan Gaines in this pulling business for about 10 or 11 years, and his motors are always as crisp and ready to run as anyone you'll ever see, and you don't ever see him working on.
He's got a whole cadre of helpers back in Georgetown. Alan Gaines, this run is neat. I thought he didn't have enough about halfway down the track, and he fooled me.
Well, he's got big horsepower under the hood, and he's playing with it right now. But here, sounds like he just opens it up, shifts gears, and says, we're going to go on. Didn't shift gears, though. But Alan Gaines is hooked as well as you're going to see anyone hooked. Front tires are really digging in, not throwing a lot of dirt, but a lot of traction. Watch this, Ken Brew, right out on the pavement.
Alan came for a paycheck tonight.
He did that. Ken Brew, that last pass for Alan Gaines should have been called a full pull.
It was. It was only right to do so.
No doubt. Hey, here's Freddie Powell.
This is Leapin' Lizzie, a truck that was built just this past summer. LaGrange, Kentucky. They tell me it's about 20 miles north and east of Louisville. 39 Ford. Just a super, super truck. And he tells me that it does pretty well on a soft track, so he'll get a chance to prove it tonight.
Well, he's come to the right spot. And as we talked about, these super modifieds don't get that many places to run anymore. So they're here. They're here running for a good purse.
Yeah, in fact, he tells me he hasn't run out of the money all season long, both in the summer and the fall. So he's doing some bragging, but if he backs it up, it's just fact. We'll see.
We're going to see if he can back it up in just a matter of moments. Look at this. He's running the uncut CPEC tires on the back of it.
Leapin' Lizard. But it won't be enough to knock Alan Gaines off the top spot. Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan, and we are right smack dab in the middle of four-wheel truck competition. Well, next up is Phil Carlton, and this is Philly's paycheck. So named because probably more than $1 of Phil's hard-earned money is in that truck.
Well, there's no doubt about that. 1977 Chevrolet 510 Supercharged Chevrolet motor under the hood. And it's taken several of Philly's paychecks to put this piece together. But the piece you've got to have is a full pull. You need to put the front tires on the pavement at the other end. On its way, it's a good hook. It's a very good hook.
Good hook. A good hook for Philly's paycheck.
Boy, knocked right on the back door of Orange Blossom Special, but I don't think he reached. No one let him in.
You know, interesting pull because he didn't really build his ground speed to a real point until about halfway down the track.
That same thing basically Alan Gaines did. Held back, but had the horsepower when it came time to ask for it and receive it.
See, it looks like he's asking for it here, and it's not happening, but all he's doing basically is timing when he's going to just let it all hang out.
Truck hooks right there, and when it hooks, it just goes like a rocket on down the track. And look at him right in here, Ken Brew. I don't think the truck's hurting at this point. Now it's beginning to fall off a little bit as the sled brings him to a stop. Tell you what, Phil did a great job of that pull.
Great pull for Phil Carlton, 205 feet even, and a nice effort for the young man out of Mantua, Ohio. Well, here is Ricky Bell behind the wheel of Bad Intentions. And you know what the road to you-know-where is paved with.
How about a beautiful truck?
Yes, it is.
My heavens, this truck is just beautiful. Starts with the very brilliant gold orange on the front. And
well, this is where the driver's personalities come out in. It's the way they design the outward appearance of their truck. All the work goes underneath the hood, and a lot of work goes outside on the cab.
Fades to a brilliant candy apple red and then to a black cherry on the back of it. Absolutely beautiful.
Well, he might be driving Bad Intention, but the intention right here for Ricky Bell is to go the full pull and catch Alan Gaines.
And he's got every intention in the world of doing it. Let's see if he can. Not going to be there. Look at the front tire. Look at that front tire on that, Kim. Talk about low tire pressure. They've got the tire pressure down on that tire, trying to get the bite on it. See how it's wrinkled?
In the lower right-hand corner.
And see the screws around the edge. That's where they screw that tire on the wheel to keep it from spinning as it goes down the track. And Ricky Bell, I think, waits a little bit long to call on the motor. Now, he's into it right in this area, and that's somewhere around the 75-foot mark. I believe he should have backed in and got a hold to the track about the 50-foot. It could have helped him on the other end, maybe another 10 or 15 feet, but all in all, it's a very fine pull for Bad Intentions.
Bad Intentions, 187 feet and 1 inch for Ricky Bell out of Nashville, Tennessee, Music City, USA. Well, I don't think it's any secret why this is called the Little Red Wagon. 86 Dodge, 496 Hemi engine, Pulaski, Tennessee. Not too far from Nashville himself.
Dodge Dakota, a very fine truck, 496 Hemi. Let's see how he ends this up. First Dodge Dakota that I've seen in competition of these new little trucks.
Just so funny seeing that wheelbase on the cab so short and the frame so long.
He calls early.
That was a good pull. Larry Douthat. Should say Tom Douthat. Larry will be up here in a little bit, but the Little Red Wagon had a nice pull. And, you know, if you look at that, it seemed like he was playing a little bit with the track.
We had a combination that actually worked better than I think he had intentions for. I think he called for the motor, but the motor never came up. The clutch didn't hook up. The RPM on the motor wouldn't come up. But what happened is it was just the right amount of power to turn the tires. And you notice at the end of it that it really lugs down. It really powers down on the end of it. But it powers down to the point so that every time the tires go around, they're grabbing more ground. Look at this. He doesn't stop. He just keeps going very slow. He's not right at the end that breaks loose and spins out. He's up amongst the leaders with the Little Red Wagon.
Tom Douthat, Pulaski, Tennessee, 214 feet, 9 1/2 inches. And from Tom, we go to Larry. Larry Douthat. This is an 88 Dodge, 432 Hemi. A little bit smaller Hemi than Tom's, but Larry has got Big Daddy magic. We'll see if he can pull a rabbit out of his hat tonight.
Well, no doubt he saw the Little Red Wagon truck run. He's seen Allen run. He's got a good idea of what it's going to take, but he's on the right-hand side. No one's been over there, and he's got great ground speed.
Oh, that is so unfortunate. I thought he was headed for a full pull.
He was headed for a full pull. And somewhere between the motor and the transfer case of the rear end it went apart, and when it did, it cost the motor. Look at this. He's got excellent ground speed. He's over on the right-hand side of the track. No one's been over there. He's closer to the track than the outside edge of the track than anyone has been, and he is really getting great ground speed, just hooking and cooking down the track. But the truck absolutely lets go, and when it does, the motor goes way up, and you see the smoke come out of the engine. The reason the smoke coming out of the engine was sitting there freewheeling. So somewhere along the drive line, there's parts to be found that weren't there earlier, and I think we've also hurt a motor real bad.
Ted Sharp's up now in the Valley Shaker. An 86 Chevy, 510 under and through the hood, and from the same hometown as Alan Gaines, Georgetown, Kentucky. There we go.
Look out, he's doing it!
Hey, he went to school on Alan Gaines.
This man drives for Alan Gaines when Alan Gaines cannot take his super modified out to competition because he's somewhere else with his other truck. This guy drives for Alan.
This guy drives like Alan.
You can see why Alan would put Ted Sharp in his trucks. Let's watch him. I mean, what can you say? This guy's got it dialed in. Everything's hooked right. He doesn't have an overabundance of ground speed, but he has enough to do what he set out to do when he left with the sled.
Such a delicate balance between speed and power, torque, reading the track right, and it all comes together here for Ted Sharp.
Watch him right there on the end of it. Ted doesn't let up. He's not going to let up till he sees that flag. It's going to be a full pull. Alan Gaines, your good friend and hometown compadre, has just forced it into a pull-off.
Here is the Mr. Diamond T. This is Eddie Powell from LaGrange, Kentucky.
Eddie Powell's got the capabilities of going three ways in his pull-off. He can make it go all the way out.
Oh, so near and yet so far away.
Eddie Powell was saying, hey, guys, this thing can work both sides of the track. Isn't that a beautiful truck, a 1939 Diamond T?
Diamond T, that is the manufacturer's name, Diamond T, obviously not in production anymore. Mr. Diamond T was no cubic zirconium tonight. He was the original thing, 207 feet, 9.5 inches, but it's not good enough to get into the super modified pull-off. Modified pull-off, Orange Blossom Special, with Alan Gaines behind the wheel, and the Valley Shaker, Ted Sharp, Gaines' big buddy.
I guess it would be senseless to ask which one you like in the pull-off, wouldn't it, Ken Brew?
I'd say it's tough to make a choice. You've got the student and you got the teacher. And school's in here in Pontiac, Michigan. Alan Gaines. Go the full distance. Mike, did they reweight the sled for the pull-off?
Did they load the boat on them that time? The sled was topping out somewhere around the 150-foot mark, maybe even before that. And you can see the distance that Alan Gaines laid down. Look at the box all the way up at the top. So they're really putting the weight on them.
Like pulling a barge down the Ohio River.
Without water.
Yeah, you got that right. Alan Gaines has set the standard now that Ted Sharp will have to equal.
Watch Alan Gaines waste no time with this pull. He knows the sled's heavier. He knows how much weight's on it. And instantly, he asks for horsepower. This truck delivers, and delivers just right out of the bat. Really screams down the other end. Good ground speed all the way up. Right here about the time that the box top. And you can see the truck go to pulling down, lugging down the friction, building up between the pan and the track, and the truck running out of horsepower. Can he do it?
Alan Gaines in the pull-off, 178 feet, 10.5 inches. And that is what the Valley Shaker has to beat. Ted Sharp. Ted Sharp, he was as sharp as a barbershop razor on a scruffy beard on his last pull. It was full tilt boogie, and now he has to beat the mark that Alan Gaines has set.
He can do it. He really can. He's got everything right on the truck. He showed that earlier. A lot of confidence in the truck. And you know he's got to be a good driver. Alan Gaines wouldn't send him in the Orange Blossom Special when he can't go.
Well, he would like nothing better to do than to take first prize here in the Super Modified.
Oh, would they have fun tonight? Alan wouldn't hear the end of it.
No, he wouldn't, and not just tonight, but for a long time. He's waiting for the green flag somewhere 200 feet down at the other end of the track. And he has to drag a sled that has been re-weighted since he pulled the last time.
This isn't helping him at all. There's a lot of heat in the engine, as you can see by the steam coming out of it. They're trying to wait for someone to clear the door on the other end of the track, and the motor's sitting there running. There's no water in the engine.
It might be Alan down here blocking him.
Well, it could be, and it's unintentional, but...
No, I don't think so.
I think he may, I look for him to shut that motor down just any time. Now he's got the green. Let's watch him. Valley Shaker is hooked up. On his way. He's good. He's good. He could do it. He could do it. Look out.
I think he did it.
I believe he did.
I think he has won, but we'll wait for the official measurement.
Well, it may have cost the motor, but I don't think at this point it makes any difference.
Oh, he's got all week to work on it. Ted Sharp, 189 feet and 8 inches, and with that, Ted Sharp has won the pull-off. It was just super, the Super Modified competition. The Valley Shaker, Ted Sharp, outdistancing his teacher, Alan, and winning the pull-off with the Little Red Wagon coming up third. Power, you're going to love this. The Bud Boss on the track, Gary Collins, El Dorado Springs, Missouri. Two blown 2,000 horsepower Keith Black Hemi engines. It's a four-wheel drive vehicle. And I'll tell you what, even if only 2 wheels are in gear, he could still haul that sled from here to Joplin, Missouri and back. The Bud Boss. It is a showpiece. And right now, the crowd is in for a treat because this is probably the strongest pulling vehicle on the road today. He's got the green flag, and he is off to the races. Right out the door. Thank goodness for brakes. Gary Collins has driven it out the door. Oh, that is superb. And the crowd loves it. An absolute show-stopping performance by Gary Collins in the Bud Boss. Well, this is what they came to see. Monster trucks. And right now, we've got 2 of them side by side on the track. Bigfoot against the Night Stalker. We also have Mike Galloway down on the floor of the building. And, Mike, you're in for a show down there. You're right down where the action is.
Well, Ken Brew, this is the place to be if you can be here and you want to get a good view of the action. This is the place you want to be. They're going to go down the track, make a U-turn. They'll come over the outside step. Jim Kramer out of the lead. Kramer with a big jump off the line. Watch this turn. It's very important. Kramer knows how to do it. He's around the first set of cars, and he doesn't let up. Over the cars. Watch out.
Oh, man.
Climbing and flying. Yeah, down to the other end with a U-turn. Night Stalker just now reaching. Kramer's still on the move. Kramer's making it work for him. Kramer's got it in a bag. If something doesn't go wrong, he backs out of it. He's going to save it for the next round. Bigfoot goes on in the first round of competition.
And there's Jim Kramer behind the wheel.
Ken Brew, Jim Kramer got a jump off the line. A lot of action off the line, and probably 5-6 truck lengths in the lead as he went down the track. Then he made the swing to the outside turn, never letting off of the throttle. Hit the first set of cars, still not lifting off the throttle. Down to the end of the track, beautiful job, but he backed out of it on the last set of cars. And when he backed out of it on the last set of cars, he was just saving it for that last round of competition. He knows he's got to go on. All right, Ken Brew, this next race coming up, Lone Ranger against Bigfoot, could be an upset in the making. Gary Bauer wants a win, and he wants it real bad. Short wheelbase truck. Let's see what happens. Jim Kramer knows what's happening. Kramer covers him 3 lengths down the front chute. But watch the turn. Kramer shoots wide on the outside. Long Ranger close on the inside. Bauer won't let up. Kramer is climbing over the first step. Bauer, going. Now Kramer is already into the turn. Bauer is about 5 lengths behind. He's in trouble. Bauer's in trouble. No, he's all right now. He swings, makes the turn. Bigfoot, he's going to back out of it. He's going to hold down. He better not let off too much. Bauer's coming on. Bauer is coming on. Bigfoot's going to take the win.
Bigfoot takes the flag. And again, Mike, we saw Kramer off the line quick. Winning the race at the start, I think, was the key for Kramer in that particular go-round. All right, Mike, now we're going to make some tracks. We got the Stormtrooper against Barefoot Tracks. And right there is Fred Schaefer behind the wheel and with the safety color.
Never count out Fred Schaefer in Barefoot Tracks. Supercharged Chevrolet. And Fred Schaefer runs a very crisp, right on the edge motor. Super horsepower comes out of it.
Now the Stormtrooper truck, Mike, tell me a little bit about that.
It's Ken Ewan's new truck out of Oklahoma. 1988 Ford Ranger, supercharged engine on the back side of it. And this will only be the second time that this vehicle has been out. So let's watch them race. Ford versus Chevrolet Stormtrooper and Barefoot. Fred Schaefer's out. It's close. When they went by me, Ken Ewan had just a little bit of a lead, but I think that's vanished. Fred Schaefer seems to have it now. Schaefer's on the throttle. Watch him. Schaefer over the first set of cars. Oh, he doesn't let up. He's taking a beating. The floor is just vibrating on the floor of the dome. Fred Schaefer is lined up for that last set. Now watch him go. Fred Schaefer holds on. Whoa! Fred Schaefer takes the win.
Mike, those trucks are so difficult to steer. People don't realize it's not a steering wheel in there. It's a series of, what do you call them, pulleys? Sticks? What do they steer those things with?
Well, they've got steering sticks that they're using to control the vehicle with. Fred Schaefer's truck is leaking a little bit of fluid out of it. Looks to be some antifreeze, so he may have built a little bit too much heat in that truck, but he hammered the Stormtrooper. So Fred Schaefer goes on in the round. He will advance. Stormtrooper goes on a trailer and heads home.
And we'll be right back here at Pontiac, Michigan in just a moment.